Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. It always takes two for relationships to work, for them to break apart, and for them to be fixed. Today on rSpace, you can't just give up on someone because the situation isn't ideal. Great relationships aren't great because they have no problems. They're great because both people care enough about the other person to find a way to make it work. I'm lost, and I may lose the love of my life. Full story. I've been married for 10 years. I, 32 male, fell in love with my wife, now 31 female, in college, and everything has worked out until now. We married very young and it felt like an amazing love story. We have been through a lot together, but one thing I have hardly ever questioned is the strength of our bond. Now things are changing at a rapid pace. Over the past year, we have revealed things that have severely damaged our relationship. I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse from multiple parties at different ages, and I held that in for years, resulting in a lot of repressed pain that would inevitably hinder my emotional intelligence. I'm working on this. I didn't tell my wife about one of the occurrences until about 5 or 6 years ago. Then I told her about the rest about 11 months ago. I was so embarrassed by all of it and hid it from the world. Therapy has done wonders for me in realizing that it was absolutely not my fault. It just sucks that it took me this long to get into therapy, but I'm doing the best I can. What was my fault was the intermittent adult content usage that I kept hidden from the world. While it should be a private thing, I also kept it from my wife. I was stupid and didn't think it would affect anyone. I just had a lot of privacy and trust issues that I never acknowledged and didn't want to ever talk about adult content. Adult content was introduced to me at a very early age and it became an addiction at some points. Adult content was there all of the times I was abused. I always fought it off, but it would creep back in whenever I felt alone in life. Adult content hardly came up in conversation between my wife and I, but there was a lie that I told at the beginning of our relationship that was so small and stupid. If I had never told that lie, I feel like things could be different. We could have even talked about her feelings around adult content, but that didn't happen. I have always been a pretty honest person, but I felt compelled to lie in the moment for reasons I did not really understand at the time. I just felt defensive and scared that I would be judged due to her religion. If I could go back, I wouldn't have done that, but I can't. That lie has come up multiple times, and I just couldn't figure out how to come clean, so I just avoided it. I finally came clean to her because of many reasons. I learned adult content can be seen as cheating, and I just couldn't lie about the small lie anymore. I accepted full responsibility, and I regret ever lying and deceiving her. Along with my reveals to my wife, she let me in on some things. She let me know that she almost called off our wedding because she still had feelings for her ex. I was second choice. She kept that from me for over a decade. She felt pressure from her mother to marry me due to religious reasons. They are Jehovah's Witnesses. I knew some of that at the time, but I had no idea that her reasoning to marry me was mostly out of fear and desperation. That has wrecked me quite a bit. We grew so much closer after these events. Unfortunately, things took a turn about 5 to 6 months ago. She told me that she needed space because she was hurt, understandably so. It wasn't the adult content usage, but rather the lying and the covering up of said lie that really hurt her. I gave her some space, but that space has grown so much. She's been pushing me away over and over, and I'm reaching my breaking point. The distance is growing as she's back in college, going to parties, bars, hardly seeing me. She prioritizes school, seeing her friends, and her school clubs over seeing me, or even trying to speak any of my love languages. Meanwhile, I'm working while she's been in school. I go to school as well, cook our meals, take care of our home, and go out of my way to try to make her feel loved, speaking her love languages. It's a one-way relationship. I have been so supportive of her, but I don't see any love back. It's exhausting, especially because she hardly ever wants to talk about our problems, and I feel gaslighted a lot of the time. Yesterday, she told me that she never felt like she was in love with me, despite her telling me the opposite before. She has always felt like I'm an amazing guy, and she does love me, but the in love part wasn't reached. She always felt like I was much more in love with her, as I have felt. She gave more insight on me being second choice, and the pressure she faced when we were to get married. My heart is broken. We aren't gelling, and our relationship is at the absolute worst. Both individuals in couples therapy have been suggested to her. The latter she has refused, but the former she has possibly agreed to. She says that a lot of these issues are her own, and that I'm an amazing person, despite my mistakes. She hasn't been trying at all, and I deserve so much more, as she has said repeatedly. We both deserve happiness, but this is not how things should be going. I don't know what to do, but I feel like divorce is imminent. I don't even know why I'm posting this. Maybe I'm just seeking any sort of advice. I'm desperate. Update edit. She cheated on me. I'm defeated. I'm so sorry, OP. This is tough. There's been so much dishonesty that has built within the relationship for so long. It's understandable that she'd be upset with the lies, but it's in no way any excuse to cheat on you. It's hard when you want to work on something and you're the only one working on it. It seems like she wasn't interested in working on it because she was already out the door and in bed with someone new. Update, 1 year later. Finally filed. It has almost been a year since D-Day and I finally filed. Pre-affair, I would have never considered reconciling, but some of that changed when it happened to me. I loved the hell out of my partner. I essentially grew up with her. The affair ruined me though. I was such an angry person when I found out, and all I could feel was a cycle of rage, deep sadness, and more. Even had a brief suicidal moment. That first day was the worst day of my life. I blew up at her, pacing the room and yelling at her for the first time ever. I was in disbelief. She seemed so sorry, and the person who I loved so incredibly deeply for the past 12 months sat there and cried as I broke down. I asked that the affair be stopped. She finally obliged, but fell into it again rather quickly, within a week or two, because she said I wasn't showing her any love or support. We talked about divorce briefly, and it was over. But then we lived together, even though we were separated, for the next 6 months or so. I knew he was still around. She still maintains that it wasn't a relationship, yet she was going to move in with him at the end of that 6-month period. Just doesn't make logical sense. She has since went to therapy, and they have talked about her self-sabotaging because she made a mistake, so she felt the need to accept that mistake as her new life, and that she didn't deserve me. Those 6 months were so incredibly hard for me, so much so that I struggled to do simple things, like file for divorce. I know it's not super complicated, but it was so hard for me because I was more stressed than ever. I just tried to stay afloat. Since she moved out, she broke it off with the guy. Meanwhile, I've taken the year to regain happiness and love for myself. I've been rather successful, and was even set up with a friend of a friend. The girl appreciates and loves me. My ex has been trying to get me back for the past month and a half, probably partly due to her seeing me happy with another person. I see my ex weekly to trade my dog, and I had been open and transparent that I had dated a little and then found a great girl. Also ultra transparent with my new girlfriend. She wanted to see me happy, but she was hurting. I had been talking about divorce for months and slowly worked on getting the papers filled out. I needed to take the final steps of filing, and I did it. I don't think my ex ever took me seriously because now she is crying, wanting me back. It's been so hard for me because it actually seems remorseful, but it's too little too late. Some may think it's wrong or irrational, but I've held compassion for my ex. I know of her problems and struggles, and I just want to see her happy. I just couldn't get past her affair and how it hurt me so badly. When I look at her, all I see is him lurking around. I'm rather proud of myself for being courageous enough to walk away from a marriage that turned very toxic. I never wanted any of that, but she took me for granted and didn't comply with my boundaries. She had many chances to stop and she didn't. Now the papers are in and she is practically begging for me to reconsider. It's a tragic situation. There was a lot of pain this weekend, especially after I told my ex that I filed. She cried and cried, but I had to choose me. I'm a very empathetic person, and it hurts to watch people in pain, so this really hurt me. Through all of the bad stuff that I had to endure over the past year, I feel blessed to have come across a new person who values and loves me. She has shown so many healthy qualities and leads with respect and compassion. I'm grateful. I deserve happiness and I may have found it, but I'm taking it slow. Let's see how the community reacts. First comment says, "She's not remorseful about what she did to you, she's regretful about what she lost. She wanted you back only after she found out the new guy wasn't what she thought. She didn't value and love you except as a backup plan. You didn't hurt her, she caused all of this herself. You can't find the right one if you are still with the wrong one. Be glad you have moved on from the wrong one. Be happy." Someone else chimes in, "Way to go. She didn't make mistakes. She made multiple decisions and chooses to cheating on you again and again. You can mourn the relationship, but don't feel bad for her." The OP replies, "Thanks for the response. She definitely made a series of bad decisions. I just care for the person and I mourn the loss of that relationship. It was the majority of my adult life. She has her own traumas that she never confronted and just completely wrecked our relationship at the end. Now she sees what she did and is regretful. It's sad to see. Outside of my sadness, I am absolutely grateful that I was set up with my new girlfriend. She is so good to me and I feel cared for, loved, heard, seen, all of it. It's amazing to feel appreciated." Everything you said is true, OP. She didn't take you or your efforts seriously. Not only that, but seeing you happy is probably a huge motivation to get back with you. She probably got a kick out of you feeling guilty and miserable. The truth is she did have chances to stop and to try to fix things, but she didn't. She wasn't interested. Both of you have made mistakes, OP, and some people just can't get over their mistakes. The mistakes become them. What do you think? Up next, caught my boyfriend of 6 years cheating on me with a coworker. Last Friday, I, 25, caught my now ex-boyfriend, 27, cheating on me with a coworker from work. He was asleep and I went to grab my phone charger and his phone glitched and I saw a name I heard of but didn't know he was texting. So I snooped and found out he lied to me about working a night shift that Thursday night and went over to her apartment. He had a couple of drinks, so I wanted to know when he got there safely. I checked his location and it wasn't available. We did this in our relationship, and he wasn't responding to me. But honestly, I never thought much of it. Thought weird and had a weird feeling in my gut. Then Friday came around, I come across this. There was like 4,000 messages between them. The latest ones from Friday were hearts, him calling her babe, winky faces, and how her glasses were so dirty, to which his response was that they were rolling around on them, then a winky face and a heart. Also crap talking me. That's as far as I read up to, before waking him up and telling him I'm done. He denied and denied, then had the audacity to call her as if she was going to tell him anything. I asked what was up with the texts. She went silent. He wanted to show me the texts, but apparently wouldn't let me go through it on my own. Just a, here look while I scroll really fast type of BS. I packed my crap and left. Didn't hear from him Saturday. Then come Sunday, he sends me a big apology message about how he was wrong and how he went over to her apartment but they didn't do anything. He went for an hour and a half before his night shift because she lost her boyfriend last year from death. Classy, right? And he lost his best friend 5 years ago. Let me mention, I also lost my best friend a month after he lost his, and I was the one who was there for him through his highs and lows. Anyways, apparently they connected through their losses. She sent me a message on Facebook Saturday too, saying that she's sorry she connected with him. Pretty much some BS sob story about how she's not ready for a relationship and she just felt nice to feel someone who understands her, and how there was absolutely no feelings involved and nothing but a hug, and that's why her glasses were so dirty. I don't believe it for a second. Clearly more went on to have been messaging a girl behind my back with 4,000 messages. Clearly he told her to send me that message. Then tells me he deleted her for good. But there was like 300 more messages in their chat from Friday through Sunday when he showed me. And I also have seen he sent her screenshots of the message she sent me. So the lies just keep going on. He keeps trying to tell me and everybody around that he's telling me the truth, but I don't think it's the full truth. Clearly there is more to that truth. I invested 6 years of my life with this man, provided for him, supported him, paid for mostly all his crap, and to get ahead in life. I was going to sign for us to move onto a property yesterday, but thank goodness I found that he was a cheating scumbag on Friday and didn't invest my money or time into it. This isn't the first time he's been unfaithful, but it will be the last. Now he will try to turn everyone against me and play the victim like narcissistic a-holes do. Thanks for listening to my rant. The community has some comments. First one, she's definitely lying for him. He's trying to do damage control now, probably because you've done so much for him. He knows he's effed up big time now. Block them both and get yourself out of that living situation ASAP. Good luck, girl. The next person says, yeah, she's covering for him. I've witnessed lying witches like her before. They lie so that your now ex won't get mad and they can carry on. He is 100% lying. She said hug got them dirty, and his message was, we was rolling around on them, winky face. Yeah, that sounds like a hug, a horizontal hug. They must think you're stupid. Block her and block him, and any mutuals want to get involved, block them too. Oh, they're both very much guilty here, and he looks like a fool for trying to tell you and everyone else that he's not a bold-faced liar. Like the comment said, they must think you're stupid. Joke's on them. You're not just a pretty face. Good thing you didn't sign those papers. That was some good timing. 6 years is a long time, but at least it wasn't forever. Thank goodness you found out when you did. And now you don't have to waste another minute with this guy. Here's hoping you don't have to financially support your next partner. Wishing you all the best, OP. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Tune in next time.